Hey guys, it's Nikki. So today I am infusing Vendi, and I wanted to make a video to show you guys how it works and how to properly infuse this factor, and to just give you my personal review on it. So this is what it looks like if you get it. I personally have 3 boxes. For me, 3 boxes. Oops, 3 boxes equals 1 dose for me. Okay, so and I have the same exact setup. I have 2 salines, ChloraPrep, an 18 gauge needle, my syringe for the push, my end cap, my alcohol prep pads, and gloves. Now, guys, I have a central line. I have a tunnel catheter. So this will be only different in terms of how it's getting infused. So if you're doing it via butterfly or IV, there's no difference on how the setup is made or how it should be administered. Just where it's going would be the difference between you and I. Okay, so first thing first for me is that I need to flush my line and make sure that there's some blood return and there's some good access. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So first things first is I want to make sure that I can see my line and it's properly dressed and covered. My end cap is there. My hands are clean and sterile. So first thing I'm going to do here is place my gloves on. Get my alcohol prep pad. And first thing I'm going to do is twist off this end cap and wipe the end. My line is locked, so no blood return should begin. Next is I'm going to grab my saline flush and attach it to the end here. Unlock the line. Start to push a little bit of saline in. And then I'm going to just draw back, because with these lines, they want you to draw back to make sure that there's good blood return. So that's what I'm going to do now here. And it's flushing beautifully. Great. I'm going to lock that, and I'm going to let this hang just like this. And it's okay to do so. It's locked. There's no blood return going backwards, and it's going to stay completely right here. It's not going to move, and nothing's going to come out. Now, let's take out the Vendi. So I just want to show you guys what the box looks like and what's inside. So you have your Vendi product here, and then you have your sterile solution here, and the mix 2 valve. So blue and white and a mix 2 valve. What I like to tell people when they're infusing is if they get a little bit confused about which end goes on which, blue should always go with blue in this term. And your Vendi should come with instructions or any factor for that matter. So I'm just going to pop off the end caps of both of the vials. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe the tops right here. I'm just going to wipe that with some alcohol prep pad for both of them. And that's just to make sure it's clean. You never know where these things are coming from, guys. So always stay clean. Remember, blue to blue snaps on just like that. And then I'm going to put the white end cap, or clear for this matter, and put it right over the gray top. And it just instantly goes in. Pretty cool, huh? It's been activated. So since I have 3 boxes, I just have to do that 2 more times. Oh, this one's sealed pretty tight. Okay, there we go. For the smaller vials, it's going to have a gray top instead of a blue top. it's the same concept. Blue with the gray. And then just like that, just so. Perfect. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 18 gauge needle and my syringe. What I like to do is I like to also clean the end cap of this. Again, we want to be as sterile as possible. And then I'm going to remove the 18 gauge needle out of its packaging and assemble it as so. And it still has the cap on. You want to make sure that you don't take the cap off before you start infusing. This is an 18 gauge needle. For any needle, you don't want to poke yourself, so just make sure you're as safe as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract the Von Vendi out of its vial, and you don't have to go in any particular order. You're just going to do it as so. I like to do the big ones first and the small ones last. But I do have to tell you something about this, guys, and I'm just going to show it to you rather. So I'm going to remove the mix 2 valve off and remove my end cap to the needle and insert the needle inside the vial and extract the Von Vendi. What I have to say about this is, now I've been doing infusions for a long time, since I was 16 years old, and I was always infusing Von Vendi. I even had a trial of Willate. I must say, this extraction of Von Vendi is extremely powerful. I kind of struggle taking it out. I have to pull back pretty strong. With this, that's my only complaint. I don't know why. I mean, the vacuum seal is very prominent and that's good. So I want to say that's why. I don't know, but I mean, I'm happy that they're very safe about it, but it kind of helped. It doesn't make it easy. So like when I put the needle in the new vials, it starts to like push back. So that's the only thing I have to say. I don't know why. I don't know if every vial is like that, but for the ones I've tried so far, it's been difficult to take out. Pretty powerful, not that strong. So it kind of sucks. And what I just did there, guys, what you saw is I pushed out the air that I didn't necessarily need. All right, so now I'm on my small bottle and the last bottle here. And as you can see, for every bottle that I did, for every new bottle that I did, I always put the end cap back on the 18 gauge needle for safety. See, it's pushing back inside. So now I'm just going to extract the last vial. All right, looks like I'm good. Okay, and again, I have some extra air in there, so I'm just going to push some of that out. Good. Now, the difference with Von Vendi and Humate P, though this is from my experience, guys, when I would have to push out that extra air that Humate P had, it would like foam and bubble, and it would take some time. I would have to stop and do it again, stop and do it again. With Von Vendi, I pushed out the air, very little to no bubbles. It was very simple, very easy. This is Von Vendi. There's nothing extra in it, and you can tell. So that's the difference so far that I've noticed. So one was the vacuum seal difficulty, and then two, the lack of foaming here. And I want to say that's a good thing. So, all right. So I'm going to leave this here. Put this over here. Okay, and I have my 18 gauge needle capped on. So now we're gonna go back to my central line. I have a ChloraPrep here. I personally like to sterilize the end cap just before the infusion because again, this is an infusion. This is factor. This is, recombinant. You don't want to not have a sterile opening. So yeah. So again, my line is still locked. I'm removing the saline cap. And I'm just going to wipe it as so. Good. Now I'm going to twist off that 18 gauge needle carefully, and the cap still remains on, so there was no fear for any puncture wounds. And now I'm going to twist on the syringe here, and it looks just like how the saline flush was. It can hang there, pretty heavy, so I kind of hold on to it. Now for me, my Hume P was going through a pump because it was also diluted with extra saline. And in this case, this isn't diluted, so I actually have to push this. So this is new for me, guys. I've never pushed a factor and was comfortable with it. It used to always burn when they would try. I would scream and beg them to stop. And that's when they came up with the idea of going through a slow infusion through the pump for the Hume P. But I've done this already about 5 times, and I've pushed it myself, and I had no complaints. So now what I'm going to do is unlock my catheter and start infusing. Now for Von Vendi, it's 2 mLs per minute. And I discussed this with the pharmacist and multiple other providers. So I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to start pushing and let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna lock it. I feel good. I feel I feel fine. It went in very, very smoothly. It's not as potent. I don't think that anyone should have an issue with this. I think it's more comfortable to infuse. Usually, when I was getting Humate P and Willate, I would get like this sudden flash or something through my body. No, because I knew something had just went in. But this was so smooth. And again, this is straight out of the box. There's no extra dilutant. This went in very smoothly. I like this already. So I think this is a win-win for me, guys. I also want to discuss a little bit about the Von Vendi and my bleeds. So I've used Von Vendi with my bleeds, and I've personally watched myself stop bleeding. So in the bathroom, I was watching myself hemorrhage and hemorrhage and hemorrhage, and I had a dose of Von Vendi on me. And with the Von Vendi, I started to infuse while I'm in the bathroom because I was afraid to leave the bathroom. I was hemorrhaging so much. And I started to infuse, and I just started to watch how quickly everything started to coagulate and just take its time or just not go. It was just a beautiful situation. So I I've personally watched Von Vendi work its magic. So I know that I should hopefully stop bleeding pretty soon. I'm still trying to figure out how many doses I need before my bleeds go back to being normal or just completely stop. So we'll figure that out. What I also didn't mention, guys, was that how many cc's came in for me. Usually with Humate P, I had anywhere between 30 to 36 cc's. With the Von Vendi, I have about 20 to 25 cc's. So this infusion should be no more than 15 minutes or so. But don't feel rushed. Don't feel like you have to do this. If you need some time or if you're starting to feel a little overwhelmed, just take your time and infuse. Maybe if you need to do it 1 ml per minute, that's fine too. But you don't want to exceed over 35 to 40 minutes. All right. So so far I have 4 mLs in, and I feel good. I don't feel overwhelmed still. I still feel how I felt with the first push. And again, it's not overwhelming. I don't feel that like that overwhelming feeling that I used to get when I got Humate P. So this is a pretty good situation we have here, guys. I think this is a good drug. I think this is doing well for the von Willebrand community. So, I mean, I know it's very, very, very difficult to get, but if you really want it, guys, which I think you should. Keep fighting and make sure you have a good team fighting for you guys. So, like this stuff really works. Even get in contact with the manufacturer, try to see if they can help you get the trial, or even they can help you try to get the drug. If they talk to your provider, they'll tell your provider the steps they need to take with your insurance company. But again, I think this is doing very well. I'm almost at the end of my infusion. At the end of my infusion, I'm just going to saline flush it, and I'm going to wipe the end cap and place a new one. So that's the only difference with me with my infusions, guys. I remember I have a central line, so I have to make sure my end caps are sterile, my line is sterile, everything is good. So once you finish an infusion for Von Vendi, I think you should be fine. My recovery time with Human P was 15 minutes. I would say my recovery time for the Von Vendi is anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to overexert yourself. So give yourself some time to kind of relax after the infusion and not overwhelm yourself. So again, guys, it's Nikki. I need to just finish infusing, and I'll post this video for you guys and let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, I can answer you to a certain extent. I don't make the drug, but I've tried it, and so far, no complaints. See you later.